The Grimdark painting style seems to be gaining in popularity, at least in the context of Warhammer 40k. Or it was always popular and I'm just noticing now. But there are some amazing pieces being created in this style. Just awesome stuff, very dramatic and unique looking. Now I've painted things that are grim and I've painted things that are dark, but I don't think I've ever consciously tried to bring those together and paint something grimdark. So in the spirit of trying new things and painting bravely, I figured I could give it a shot. I was downright excited to try it after painting quite a few things that are like colorful and bright and just to try something quite different. And I thought, why don't I share with you, my dear fellow hobbyists, what it's like for me to try a completely new style or something that I just really haven't done much of before. And really it's going to be about how I tried to learn the technique, including things I tripped up on and things I didn't do as well. What I usually do when I try to learn something new is I do what you're doing right now. I watch YouTube videos and I Google things. I mean, seriously, everyone does that. Even the best painters look for inspiration. If it's not a YouTube video, they look through art books and fantasy illustrations. You know, they do. Everyone does. It's not a problem. It's good. Why am I over-explaining this? Now, I would argue that the reigning champion of Grimdark painting style is Zatkaskagoon, who runs the Grimdark Compendium. Like, he literally runs a website dedicated to this style. And it's awesome. His work is superb. Now, one thing stood out to me as I was watching some of his tutorials. He said,
the Grimdark painting style, at least the techniques that I've developed, is a very low skill painting style.
Perfect. Perfect for me anyway. I got low skill. I have that, so I should be able to do this. But now that I've given it a try, I would argue this is not as low skill as he makes it out to be. And he actually has a lot more skill than he's probably giving himself credit for. Hey, for just a sec, I'd like to take a moment and tell you guys that this video is not sponsored by Squarespace, but maybe if you give me a like down below, maybe someday it will be. Okay, I'm pretty sure I just convinced most of you not to like this video. So the approach I took was this. I picked a model I liked to try this out on. I chose one of the new Orc Warboss leader guys from the Beast Snagas line. I just thought this guy looked really cool. But this might have been my first mistake, which I'll explain later. Then I watched some of Zatkaskagoon's tutorials about getting started and the fundamentals of Grimdark, and a few other tutorials as well, some of Marco's at Not Just Mecha.
Hello, guys!
After many trips to the hobby store, and in fact I've been accumulating some of this stuff for a while now, I ended up with quite a few of the products that are typically used for this style of painting. In particular, some AK Interactive streaking grime, some white spirits, some oils and weathering enamels. So the one thing that was really clear to me in all of these videos about this technique is it's about applying the products and then removing them. But I'll be honest, I wasn't sure how much pre-painting you're supposed to do before you put all the stuff on and take it all off again. So essentially, what's the baseline of the miniature supposed to be? And then you dirty that up and grimdark it. It turns out it's not really as simple as applying streaking grime and taking it off. And my assumption was to have any sort of contrast or color at all, I would need to pretty much paint the miniature normally and then apply the grimdark layer. So I did that. Here's a few shots of what I was doing. I'm not doing a full tutorial on literally painting this guy, by the way. I'm gonna just mostly talk about the grimdark part. But because I knew I was going to be covering it with grime and dirt and weathering, I did cut corners, and I was a little messier because, you know, I knew I could hide, I think Marco calls them crimes, but I could hide my mistakes and hide some of the roughness around the edges. I did try to create some areas of interest, like the bright white sort of ceramite armor stuff that these Beast Snagas wear. When the mini was finished enough and prepared for Grimdark, I started to apply the various products that and techniques that I had been learning. So this is streaking grime, this is brown, dark wash, dark brown wash, enamel, things like that. For some of the oils I did what Marco does, and I applied the oil paint right onto the model with no thinning and whatsoever, and then I kind of removed some with makeup sponges to try and just create that nice dirty effect and leave some of it in the crevices. For the streaking grime, it was very much just applying it with the airbrush and then removing it with Q-tips and white spirits. So I did those sorts of techniques, and I did that for a while, and the end result is okay. So I decided I also needed to grimdark the base, and I turned to Geek Gaming Scenic's Grimdark Rubble, which, I mean, it's right on the tin, right? It says what it is. It's Grimdark. But still, you know, I don't think it worked. So here's some thoughts. I think the subject matter matters. Maybe this Beast Snaga model just isn't very grimdarkable. Somehow everyone else's grimdark models look amazing and mine just looks kind of dirty. and muddy. Now on the subject matter point, maybe I need a model that allows for bright spots of OSL, which I think helps those Grimdark models pop in various ways. I also think the pre-Grimdark paint job matters, like I said, and I think I might have messed that up just by painting it too traditionally and not with the intent of becoming a Grimdark model, if that makes sense. The problem is I don't know what I would have done differently yet. I want to try again, and I'm going to try and maybe pick a different model, different subject matter, and do a little more research on how to do this right. So admittedly, this is a bit of a weird video where I try something new and explain how I failed at it. And so what is there really to learn from that as viewers? Well, maybe that's my point this time, is that we all benefit as hobbyists from pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones, trying new things, even if we know or suspect that they may not turn out the way we want them to on a $35 model. But I think we improve as we get curious, as we test ourselves, as we do more research to learn new things, and we paint bravely, like they say on the podcast. Because even though I'm not satisfied with this model, I did learn some things. I learned what was working for me, I learned what wasn't. And I started to have new ideas about how to approach this. But it also created an appetite in me to continue to dig into this, to research it even more, and to just push even further and just try to get a handle on it. Hey, comment below, have you tried doing the Grimdark style yourself? How did it work out? Meanwhile, I'm going to continue to try OSL, like I said, and I'm going to push into other techniques and try new things. And I'm really going to just try to keep pushing out beyond the basic stuff I've been doing for so long. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.